Hi everyone, it's Kai and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another wig tutorial. I know, just so many innovative original ideas coming out of my channel. Like, my mind just amazes me. I've had this wig for a while now. It's from Powder Room D. I restyled it into the side swept moment. It's sort of like you just got caught in a windstorm that ravaged your hair but lusciously and permanently swept it over to one side and, you know, conveniently exposed your better side. Okay, let's jump straight into the tutorial and I'll see you again later at the end. So I know that I want this hair to all sweep to my left side, so I've sort of parted the hair already to have it falling on that side. And all of this hair here, I'm gonna be pinning back. So that's sort of how the idea of this style is gonna work. So I'm gonna give this wig a little bit of a haircut before I do all that. Since I'm pinning all of this stuff back, I don't really need to cut this hair over here. I'm more thinking of cutting some layers into this hair here that's gonna form like the bangs and the main focal point of the hair. Because even though this is a short wig, this length here is still quite long. And by having it shorter, you're gonna have lots more layers and lots more texture in it. And it's also gonna be very easy to style. If you are like a professional hair cutter, I urge you to look away. Avert your eyes for this portion of the video because you are just gonna cringe at what I'm about to do. But I just use like regular craft scissors. This section of hair is gonna fall this way, so it makes sense for it to be shorter here and then longer here. So I kind of will run my scissors this way. Do you see? It doesn't make any sense for me to run my scissors like this because the hair is gonna fall on here. So for this hair to be longer and that hair to be shorter, this is just how my mind works. So I'm gonna just very gently sort of start cutting some hair off. I've got my scissors vertical, so I'm not cutting a super blunt slice of hair off like that. So sort of cutting like that. And I repeat, I'm not a pro at this. And when you just want to get little pieces of hair, you can sort of just go like that with it. And just sort of thin out the wig and give it some short layers at the top so that the final style has a little bit more texture. And all of those shorter hairs are also going to make it easier for the hair to be higher, because when hair is very long, it's just going to be wanting to be weighed down. But when you have short hair that's only like this long, then it's very easy for you to get a very tall bang up there because it's very light. All right, so that's all I'm gonna do in terms of cutting into this wig. Now I'm gonna curl this wig. So I'm gonna get my rollers. So I'm gonna start by taking sections at the part, like this section right here that I know is gonna fall that way. I'm gonna take this blue roller and I'm gonna set it like this. So see how that's sort of on a diagonal? Now, especially when you've given it a haircut like I've just done, it can be a little bit challenging to, you know, fit all of the hair into the roller, because if you've got shorter hairs and longer hairs in the same handful of hair, you know, there's going to be strands that just pop out when you're trying to roll it up. But just really take your time with it and consider using a smaller section of hair, because if you just smush the hair into the roller, then it's not going to look very neat and it's going to look like a really messy curl. So just take your time with it. All right, this one is taking forever. There we go. And then I'm securing the roller set in with these long pearl head pins. Yeah. So now I've done this row from the part all the way to the ear. I told you I'm taking this part of the hair and I'm gonna pin it back like that to make it really flat on this side. So to me, it makes the most sense to place the rollers this way, like parallel to the hairline, so that the hair is curling in that direction. And I'm gonna roll it down like that. I will say one thing. The reason why I have these rollers set like diagonally is because I do want them to be brushed that way, but I don't want to set them vertically, because if I did, then these two like strands in particular would have such a different curl pattern that would be very hard for me to brush them together into one. And it's not like I want a super stark difference between, okay, there's this section of hair and there's this section of hair. Like you'll see in my final product that I want there to be more one just elegant swoosh of hair. So I don't want there to be such an like a blatantly obvious part here. But I do want this hair to easily be swept back and this hair to be easily pushed up. Hopefully that makes some sense. So once you've done the entire hairline from ear to ear, it's a bit easier to do the back of the hair. I mean, this is really the only part that I put that much thought into, you know, what way I'm placing the rollers. But for the rest of the hair in the back, I sort of just follow sort of a grid pattern. So like if this is the part right here, I'll section that off, or let me just push it over there. And then I'll take just another section of hair behind this one and like just copy it and do another row. Here's an example of what I'm saying. Like I followed this roller and made an entire row behind it of hair that eventually sort of rotated and pivoted around. Now, what do we do about this section of hair in these scenarios where a section has to go in between two rollers which are at different angles? I sort of just split the difference. That way there's no harsh, you know, contrasts in curl patterns around the wig, and it all is just very cohesive and blends together in the end. Right? So that sort of makes sense to me. I put these orange rollers on the bottom only because I ran out of the blue rollers, so just ignore that. That's not really relevant to the style. But now I'm going to cover this wig with a bag and steam it, and I'll see you later when I can take them out. Alright guys, I'm back. Now the wig has dried. I just dried it with a blow dryer for like 5 minutes while it was still under the bag. So I'm going to take all of these rollers out and then see how it looks. Alright, so here's what the wig looks like. I'm just realizing now that the color of this wig is not great for tutorials. Like, it just looks like one big radioactive ball. You can sort of see the curls. This is the last time you're going to see this wig in my tutorials, alright? But bear with me, please. So this is how the wig is looking. So I'm going to start off by teasing and pumping up this side of the hair. I'll leave the side of the hair that's going to be slicked back until later. I'm taking this first initial section of hair right on the hairline, and I'm gonna save it until later so I can really smooth it in after the bulk of the teasing has been done. And I'm gonna tease all of this hair up here. Got my teasing comb, and in the same way that we rolled it in the direction that we want to brush it in, I'm also gonna tease it in that direction. So since I want this hair to fall that way, I'm teasing it on that side of the hair. Right? And for extra volume, get that section again and just tease it again until you really make it poofy and just make it stand up like that on its own. And teasing it once more. Oop. I've done videos in the past really detailing how I tease my wigs, so you can watch those. But you know, the main idea of a good tease is you want it to be fluffy. You want it to look like a big cloud of hair. And something that I learned from watching a video of Delta work, she said you should be able to stick the end of your brush in the base of the hair and then lift it without the brush coming out. That's how you know you've really got a strong, you know, network of hair that's really teased together. Right, so I'm taking a section. Now I'm going to take this hair that I promised to slick back. So if you hold it like that, that sort of looks like what we're going to do. Out of all of this hair on this side, I'm going to take maybe 2 inches of it. So the front 2 inches, section that off, and then I'm going to back comb this bit. Before you slick it back, you have to start off by doing a little light back combing to it. The bobby pins will just slip out if there's not a little bit of back combing put into it. And instead of sweeping it back like this, instead of putting it in that direction, I'm sort of going to angle it up in that direction so that it looks like it's sort of just blending into that big wave of hair that's cascading over my face. Really smooth this out so that there's no, you know, rattiness that's going on here, because obviously this is a section of hair that you can see. And I'm gonna pin it with a line of bobby pins all the way down here. And you can use blonde bobby pins for this color of hair. Obviously you're gonna want to use a color that matches it the best, but I don't have that luxury. I've only got these black bobby pins right now. So you always make sure to do the bumpy side of the bobby pin down, and I'm sort of pinning them in an X formation like that. Alright, so that's what it looks like from the front. Now to hide this line of pins, I'm kind of just gonna, you know, brush some hair to go over top of it like that, which easily hides it. I'm gonna do the same thing with this section of hair right here. I don't think I like how that's jutting out a bit too much, so I'm gonna also brush it back. So just grabbing maybe this much, smoothing it out with my brush, and then I'm gonna align it again, brushing it upwards, and just align it right underneath that first row of bobby pins. The trick really in this is to place the bobby pins high up enough that there's so much hair over here that I can easily brush it over to disguise them, and you don't even see them anymore. Now I'm just gonna smooth it out a little bit. Notice how I'm like clumping it with my hands and just smoothing out the ends. The last thing I need to do is deal with this hair in the front. So you'll see what I was saying earlier when I don't want this part to be like completely obvious. I'm sort of pulling out some hairs in the part to make it a little bit looser and less flat, so that, you know, it's not completely flat here. Like I'm sort of pulling these out of the bobby pins just to sort of even out that shape there. Like I like how that's sitting like that. So now what we're doing is just brushing the hair up away from the face and sort of guiding it to the side that we want it to fall. Because we gave it that haircut in the beginning, I'm finding it easier to get that height at the top, and you get some really nice curls going on in the top, like that there. Let's see what it looks like from the back. This strand I'm actually finding is a little bit too loose for my liking. Like, look how much it's just moving around. So I'm actually going to completely pull it out of the bobby pin And I'm gonna need to tease it again because I don't think it's really sturdy enough. Brush it smooth. And then maybe I'll actually just blend it in with the rest of the hair instead of pinning it down. So it's got that beautiful shape. I like the way that it's looking now, so I'm gonna freeze it in place with hairspray, and I realize that the hair in the front is the one that's most prone to falling down onto your forehead. So that's the part that we really need to freeze with the hairspray. So I'm gonna get my, just got right in my face. I'm gonna get my blow dryer, hit it with the hairspray, and then with my brush, I'll sort of hold it in place and then just blow dry. That combination of the blow dryer and hairspray just really freezes it in place, and it really is not going to want to move after that, like, at all. Now, it's possible to hairspray it too much and too close to the wig that it just looks like fried. And if that happens, you basically just are fucked and you have to quit drag. I'm just kidding. No, you can brush it out with your brush and redo it. I like this method of doing it a little bit away from the wig and sort of spraying into the stream of hot air, like this. And that's gonna give it a more, you know, light dusting of hairspray as opposed to getting so up close and sort of ruining it. I think there we have it. Here's the finished wig. All right, I'm gonna go get changed and I'll show you what it looks like on my head. And we're back. So this is what the wig looks like on. Bathroom. Something that I will always like to do when I put on a wig like this, where a part is like slicked back, is you always have to kind of give it a spray with hairspray and just slick back the flyaway so it's very smooth. It kind of turned out exactly how I envisioned it, so I'm very pleased with that. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial. Can't wait to see your recreations. If you liked watching this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And comment down below your request for what kinds of videos you want to see from me. You know, I'm always trying to do more tutorials, but sometimes it just takes so long that I'm not able to upload as frequently as I would like. So let me know if you are interested in seeing any other types of videos from me besides tutorials. I'm very open-minded. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Until I see you guys next time, I hope you're all doing well. Bye!